And hello, late tea time podders around the world. Very nice to coming to you ahead of the final round of the Open Championship, the 152nd of the varieties of this tournament at Royal Troon. And first of all, apologies for yesterday. We had Matt Cooper lined up from the course, but I know what it's like at these live events. You get taffled up in stuff. It was going backwards and backwards and backwards. In the end, decided that we needed some sleep at some stage. So we didn't do day three, but myself and DT, who's muted at the minute, DT, you need to unmute yourself, is looking ahead now to round 4 of the championships, and it is rather nicely poised, I would suggest. It's been a really good tournament. I mean, first of all, on a very general basis, DT, we said this the other day, I'm loving this tournament. I'm not seeing all of it because I've been on the cricket the last 3 days, but I've been catching it where I can, and I just love the challenge that this course is presenting. It's really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely wild day today in terms of what happened on the leaderboard. Players you weren't even that sure if they'd made the cut are suddenly kind of in contention. I mean,
just to go back to what you
go
back to what you said the other day about the top 10 were the only ones that could do it. That's kind of potentially still right, because there's still people in the top 10 after the round 1 that are still there, but there's a lot of other people in contention that we thought were probably not going to be anywhere near.
Just occasionally you get a weather day at the Open. I think maybe people think it happens more often than it does, but it's quite rare still that you get a morning where the scoring's there and you see people shoot 6 under, 5 under, and they rocket up the leaderboard, but then they kind of, as the leaders go out but the lead, with the weather just horrible, it was so damp, not particularly windy, but just damp, the air heavy. I think it was the 15th, Scottie Scheffler hit a driver and a 3-wood and didn't even make the green on a par 4. So it's just crazy. So all those guys who went out kind of this morning thinking, well, I'll just try and get a respectable top 20 in an Open, they could win it now in theory. So it was.
I was watching the scores. I had the scoreboard on my computer whilst I was watching the cricket, and I was looking at the score and thinking, there's a lot of low scores coming in here. There's 2 under par, 4 under par, 5 under par for the round, 6 under, getting towards the top end of the leaderboard. And gradually, as the day progressed, those minor scores started to disappear, and people were starting to really struggle, weren't they? Let's have a look at the top end of the leaderboard as things stand. Billy Horschel is leading the Open Championship with 18 holes to go. He's 4 under par after a 69 today. Really good round from him. Tristan Lawrence, who was out fairly early, 65 from him, makes him 3 under. Sam Burns is 3 under. Russell Henley 3 under. Xander Schauffele looks handily placed at 3 under as well. So does Justin Rose, and Daniel Brown is clean on there at the top end of the leaderboard. Dropped 3 shots in the last 2 holes. Otherwise, you'd have been leading overnight. Scottie Scheffler is 2 under. And then the only other player that is under par is Shane Lowry at 1 under par. But he obviously has lost a lot of ground today with the way it's panned out. And they're going across the bottom of the screen. The prices, and the Schauffele 7-2 favourite. Scottie Scheffler 15-4. Billy Horschel, who I've really warmed to today, I like him. He's 6-1. Justin Rose 8-1. Sam Burns 17-2. Russell Henley 10-1. Tristan Lawrence 16-1. Daniel Brown, who's still there, 22-1, and Shane Lowry is out to 25-1. The rest are 50-1 and higher. Let's go through in the order of the leaderboard. I think we'll do. Should we go reverse order, or should we go in from top to bottom?
Oh, no, start from the top because it's pretty wide open. So,
okay. Well, we've got the man that I said I've warmed to today, plays with a smile on his face. I haven't seen a huge amount of Billy Horschel. I know his name very well, but not seen a huge amount of him play. And him and Justin Rose seem to be forming a real bond out there. Lots of smiles, lots of fist bumps. And Billy Horschel played really nicely in the rain.
Yeah, you were picking a 2-ball that actually seemed to sort of thrive in the conditions, and almost just like, come on, we sort of want to, put ourselves to the ultimate test, and we'll have a laugh about it and take the challenge. Whereas other groups, you could just see that, just get me out of here. They didn't want to be
wet and miserable, weren't they?
Yeah, things were getting wrong. They could sort of sense the rain, whereas Billy also just flipped his cap round, as did Justin Rose, and they just embraced it. So he's an interesting one because he's got this terrible record in the majors, really, really bad, and yet he's won a lot of big events in the States. He won the FedEx Cup one year. What he has done, he's come over to these shores quite a lot in recent years, played the Alfred Dunhill Links a couple of times. He referenced that afterwards, saying he'd played one round at Kingsbarns that he thought was better than his round today. So he's played links golf. He's won at Wentworth as well. So the last few years, Billy Horschel has become a bit of a cult figure. We always get this stat that he's not fact that he's a West Ham fan.
Well, we all have our crosses to bear, don't we?
Yeah, so this is a bit random, but he's popular. I remember when I was at the Open at Royal Portrush in 2019. One of the cabbies said he'd had Billy Horschel in his little wee cab sorters, and yes, very good. And then he said, "What a nice bloke." So I'm not convinced in America he's kind of that kind of popular, but over here we sort of love him, and I think he loves us.
Well, here, when they're coming up the 18th, him and Justin Rose got a really good reception.
Yeah,
it wasn't just for Justin Rose, was it?
No, it was Billy Horschel sort of playing the crowd a bit, just showing that he's loving it. You know, there's nothing worse than a kind of stroppy, kind of American player. Just sort of, you know, it's great when the American players come over and love it because it's so different, and he's definitely one of those.
Well, he goes out in the final group, DT.
Yeah,
he's actually drawn alongside Tristan Lawrence, the South African.
Yes. Yeah.
Does that help or hinder?
It's hard to know, isn't it? It's such a weird final group. I mean, Billy Horschel being in the final group in the major is weird enough. To get Tristan Lawrence in there, it's like it just
you got good money on that pairing if you had that market, wouldn't you?
It seems like a sort of like 10:45 pairing that go off about 4 hours before the leaders or something. But yeah, Billy Horschel. The 2 plus points for him is the fact that he really embraced it, and the second one he's played over here in Scotland quite a bit in recent times, so he's got a bit of a leg up there, whereas others haven't.
Yeah.
Is he great? What have you got? 6-1?
He is. He's just disappeared off the screen there.
Yeah,
where is he? Billy is in there at 11-2.
Yeah. You see, is he great odds at that? I don't know if I'm jumping off my seat to back him at those odds. It'd be quite fun to see him win, but I'm not sure he's a great bet at those odds, even though he's leading them. It's it's so fragile, isn't it? The lead that.
Well, should we do this? Should we do this in the pairings? Seeing as I've got them on the screen here, Tristan Lawrence going off with Billy Horschel. Tristan Lawrence is 3 under, so he's only 1 back coming into this one. He's quite lengthy still in terms of his price, because you can get Tristan Lawrence at 16-1.
Yeah, I mean, if you just go purely on the fact that he's going out in the last group, you say that's a bit of value, but he's got a bit of a reputation for kind of folding. This is completely new ground for him. I don't know.
Stay clear.
He's kind of a price play, isn't he? He's kind of, if you're a real value hunter and you think last group 16-1, I'll just do that as an automatic thing. But I think once you peel back the layers a bit and find out about what he's achieved so far, I mean, he has won before, but he's not for me.
Yeah, you sometimes get in the last group, you get one of them just falls away. It ends up just kind of like trogging down the final 18th just as a support act potentially. But that might be Tristan Lawrence. But he's there if you want him. He's there if you want him. And the penultimate pairing tomorrow sees 2:15 tee off time. Sees Russell Henley and Sam Burns, 2 Americans going off, both 3 under par. You can get Russell Henley at a price at the moment of, where are you, Russell? He's 10-1. Sam Burns is 17-2, DT.
Yeah, Sam Burns has won quite a few times in America, 4 or 5 times in Florida. But there's a stat going around I've seen that I don't think anyone has ever been in a worse first round position and won a major. So he was, I think, he was 96 or something after round 1. Shot a 76. So he's having to defy a whole heap of history.
Defy gravity almost.
Yeah, it just seemed, it's like what are you doing there? Sam Burns and Russell Henley, how have you got there? But
I mean, Tristan Lawrence and Sam Burns and Russell Henley, to be fair, 65, 65 and 66 today. But I assume that they were out fairly early, weren't they?
Yeah, so they got all the good weather. So I guess the downside for them is that, well, you're not going to get that good weather tomorrow. No. It's quite. There's no rain, but it's a bit more breezy. I just think they won't have it like they had it today. Therefore, could you say, can they do it again in tougher conditions? That remains to be seen. When it was tougher early in the week, they weren't anywhere near the top. So
well, our friend McNulty, who follows
Yes.
the Late Tea Time podcast. Hello, McNulty. He says, "Come on, Tristan." He says, "Nabbed him at 200 to 1 with 5 places midway through his run today. Please, with a praying sign." Well, good luck, McNulty. Good luck. Hopefully that comes up trumps for you. But yeah, Tristan Lawrence, maybe not for everybody.
No, I can't see the three we just talked about there: Lawrence, Henley, and Burns. It's not that I can't. It's not that I don't respect the chances. I just see there's more likely winners elsewhere that we're going to come on to.
We'll come on to two. Well, my favourite pairing is the next pairing. We'll come on to that in a second, because we should say thank you very much to switchwatersupplier.com, who are the sponsors of the Late Tea Time podcast. If you want to save money on your business water bills, whether you're a golf course, a cricket ground, or any kind of business, here's how you can do it.
All golfers want to stay away from the water. That splash as your round sinks beneath the surface is never a good sound. But golf courses rely on water to keep those fairways and greens lush, for that post-round shower or the clean glass at the 19th hole. Golf courses, indeed most businesses, spend way too much money on their water bills. Switch Water Supplier can cut your water costs and help your business save money. Register now at switchwatersupplier.com. They will do all the hard work and get your business the very best price for your water supply and claim money back if you've been overcharged. Switchwatersupplier.com. Switching made simple.
Switching made simple. Never a bad time to save money. And if you want to save money on your water bills, that's the place to go. Switchwatersupplier.com. Now, DT, if I was buying a ticket for Troon tomorrow, and I was going to be thinking about who I was going to follow, this next pairing would be the one I'd be trogging around with. Justin Rose and Xander Schauffele, both 3 under par. They are the third from last pairing as they kick off. Xander Schauffele, he's the favourite now in the market, 7 to 2. Justin Rose is around about 8 to 1. And that's quite a tasty couple, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if you're betting on which group would the winner come from, I would say it's that group, but mostly because of Schauffele.
Yeah, he looks good, doesn't he? He's so consistent.
Yeah, there's no weaknesses to his game, and you look at his stats.
And that major win recently has given him the belief that he can do it again as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so fresh in the mind. If you look at his stats this week, he's just solid everywhere you look. Good putting's good around the green, 30th putting, 17th around the green, 12th approach, 16th off the tee, 4th tee to green. There's no weaknesses there. And if you go through other players, you normally find in a bit of an area where they're not performing well, i.e. Scottie Scheffler. We'll come to him in a minute. But Schauffele, they showed quite a lot of him today, and every time they showed him, he didn't seem to be in a whole bunch of trouble. Other players, they were here, there, and everywhere, and Schauffele was just going about his business. Could have gone lower, left a few putts that could have gone in on another day. But yeah, he won that USPGA. He just looks calm. It just looks like it's stress-free compared to a lot of the others.
He said after his round that he felt like it was better than the 69, partly because of what you said, but partly because of the conditions. He battled the conditions, so therefore that kind of boosted his score up a bit. But looks in really good nick, doesn't he? And confident, and a major winner. So he's walking with that kind of strut now, and that he maybe didn't have before. But it could inspire Justin Rose, couldn't it? That pairing together.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great pairing, isn't it? I mean, Justin Rose, he's not won a major. He's won one major, 2013. You kind of think 11 years is a big gap, but thinking of Ernie Els, he won the 2002 Open, and then he won it 11 years later, 2013. So that 11-year gap, it can be bridged because older players have got a great record in the Open. Els, Mickelson, I think. Amir was in his 40s. Mickelson, Darren Clark was in his 40s. There's a lot of guys who aren't winning the other majors who can win this one. Justin Rose has got a chance. I mean, he loved it today, but I still would say Schauffele if I had to pick one of those two.
If I was having a bet, TT, I'd put money on both of them and then just watch that group and then hope they entertained me.
Yeah, it's not the worst strategy if you think they're winning. They hold the winning ticket, that pair. But Schauffele, as well as you say, he's won the USPGA, got a bit of chest out, bit of spring in his step. He's also won the Scottish Open a couple of years ago. He's finished second at Carnoustie in an Open. He just looks, I don't know, there's no weaknesses there at all. If you come down to the question, who do you trust most out of all these leaders? It's him. I know he's the favourite. I think the market is right. And I would, someone said to me now, stop me in the street. Who's going to win the Open tomorrow? Goes Xander Schauffele.
So if you see DT tomorrow and you stop him in the street, that's what he's going to say
to you. So you don't have to stop me now. You know what I'm going to say. But
just let him walk on.
Yeah.
I think there's an element as well of them coming from behind a little bit. I mean, we'll come on to Daniel Brown in a second. They were talking about him maybe being favoured by the fact he's not going to be in that final group. And the limelight's on them, the kind of expectations on them, but such a level playing field at the top in terms of scores that it could come from any of these final groups. Let's move on to the next one, which again is decent. We've got, I think it's the 155 group is world number 1 Scottie Scheffler. He's 2 under. Daniel Brown, who is clinging on for dear life, and as I said, if he hadn't dropped those 3 shots in the last 2 holes, would have been leading the Open going in. But in a way, him not leadings might be a little bit better for him. But he's got Scottie Scheffler next to him, which is a bit of a dream ticket.
Yeah, it can go 2 ways, that, can't it? It's like you've got the world number 1 next to you. Wow, what a privilege and all that. But then the other way is, oh, you've got the world number 1 next to me. It's like, can I cope? Well, he does seem.
I mean, if you told him at the start of the week that he was going to be playing the final round with Scottie Scheffler, he'd probably thought, I'm doing quite well then, aren't I?
Yeah, you would have thought, well, would Scottie Scheffler have to have been arrested again and now starts the day?
He's had an absolute nightmare. He's right down the bottom end. That's where you play him.
Yeah.
Not at all. So, he's playing really well.
And he does seem, he's from North Yorkshire, and you think Harrogate. He's got quite a sort of laid back demeanour. He's got he's a cool player. He got up and down. He was in some tricky positions, and he's a very tidy short game.
I liked his post round interview, and he said they said, "What's he going to be like?" He said, "I'm not looking further forward." And he asked him, "Well, I'm going to have to make you look forward. What have you dreamt about lifting?" And he was very measured with it. He wasn't kind of saying rah rah rah, and he wasn't saying, "Oh, I'm a bit afraid." He was just going to play every hole. I'm going to play it how I've played the first 3 rounds, and I'm going to see where that takes me, which is a good attitude, I think.
I mean, this is his first major. He has won in Northern Ireland on the DP World Tour last year. Won by 5, I think. He likes a cheeky fag as well, so you'd like him.
He'll blow away in the wind they've got there.
Right.
What about you discounted Scottie Scheffler the other day because he was tied 11th. He's right in there, isn't he?
Yeah, a bit of a sort of fact, sort of being beholden to the fact there. He is right in there, but my worry for him or Scheffler backer is that his putting was no good today. Back to kind of Scottie Scheffler kind of on the greens. You expect him to miss. You just expect him to sort of shave the hole or just not hold these sort of 8-10 footers. And I think he was something like 79th out of 80 in putting today. So really did struggle. Yeah,
that's not good.
It's not good. And I think kind of when he's on that train, then he sort of starts to compensate. Well, am I hitting them too, on undercooking them? I just don't think he's working it out as well as he would on American greens that might be the same each day.
Yeah.
So that's the, as I was saying with Xander Schauffele, no weaknesses with Scheffler. There is a weakness as well as he's doing everything else. That putting, I think it might just cost him.
Well, I mean, he knows how to win, though, doesn't he? So if he's in the hunt coming to the final sort of 5 holes, you would not necessarily back against him in that situation. But
knows how to win in America, but he's never won over here. Again, Schauffele has won over here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fair comeback. Game 36 tomorrow, 1:45. In fact, let's run through the next three, because I think that's probably as far as we can take it. Adam Scott, Shane Lowry, they're together. Adam Scott's playing really good golf, played well in Scotland, didn't he? Shane Lowry was playing really good golf, and it fell apart a bit today, but maybe that's his bad round. And then you got Matthew Jordan taking it up alongside Justin Thomas in the 1:35 p.m. start. And then you've got Benian and Sunjae Im. Sunjae Im with a hole-in-one today, didn't they? Both of those are 1 over. So they're a little bit further back. Any of those strike your fancy? Can Shane Lowry steady the ship and come flying back into contention?
Well, I saw another Justin Ray stat. I think it was 92% of Open winners. I can't remember the study period, maybe this century, had been no worse than 4 off the lead. So that's basically everyone under par, isn't it? That's where you sort of cut off. I know there's 8% who did win from back, but that kind of leaves Shane Lowry as maybe the last possible in that list. Well, I was on him at the start at 33-1. He was my main bet of the week. So it was grim viewing, to be honest, watching him today, because I don't know, he just couldn't hold a putt. He held one maybe quite late on.
One of his clubs took a real belting as he banged it into the tee at one stage.
He was going along really nicely. A couple clear, might have been 3 clear at one point. Put his tee shot into the bunker at the little short par 3/8 postage stamp. Got a double there, and then he never really recovered. He just looked like he had the hump. He was being a bit kind of mardy and short with spectators and the guys walking inside the ropes. So yeah, I don't think he can win, I'm afraid, from there. And I think the evens, it's not that 4 back doesn't sound that bad, but I think there's too many good players above the guys who are at even par.
Yeah.
So yeah, I fear Shane Lowry's chance. I know you said that's his bad day out of the way. I'm kind of feeling he's just now on the.
And he might get a bit of a hangover from today as well in terms of performance.
It just looks like it's such a contrast watching him and his demeanour compared to Horschel and Rose, who were just kind of loving the battle. Shane Lowry in bad weather, you would have thought Shane Lowry would have,
that was made for him, wasn't it?
Yeah. And yet he just got on the wrong side of stuff and it just fell away.
There may be a few bookmakers thanking him for his fall off, because I bet there's a fair amount of money went on Shane Lowry over the last sort of 36 hours or so.
Absolutely.
He's one of the favourites, and everybody likes him, and everybody have been willing him to do well and putting a tenner behind him or whatever.
I mean, he's not out of it by any means, but it's just, I don't know, he just seems like the momentum has all been sucked out of him.
Yeah. So, well, good luck, Shane.
We
all do like you. We all do like you, so hopefully you do well. I mean, going further back, then we're going to discount everybody else, I think, aren't we? In terms of, I mean, I guess there is potential for, I don't know, a Colin Morikawa who's 2 over, shooting something ridiculously low and putting himself right in the frame, but it's unlikely, isn't it? I mean, you might get a few people slipping back off the top because of the conditions, but you'd imagine somebody at the top of the leaderboard's going to go at least 2 under and try and grasp it by the scruff of the neck.
There's just not that discrepancy in the weather, whereas there's a bit. It was really, if you look at the scores, they were all made early, and then the scoring went up. But it's just the weather forecast just looks quite similar throughout the day. So there's not that potential for someone to go out and make hay when it's sunny. It's just going to be tough from the start, I think. So I know people love to kind of pull a rabbit from a hat and think, well, Paul Lowry was 10 back when he won, but he was still quite high on the lead. It's a freak, but Andy there wasn't that many players ahead of him, to be honest. He might have even been like 5th. So as much as we love that narrative that someone can, and you'll hear it on the TV, someone could come from the pack and win. I think the reality is somebody right up there will win.
It's kind of like their job on TV to make it sound exciting at the start, because they want you to watch all of it rather than just the end of it. But yeah, I agree with you. I can't see it. And I think we're both in agreement from what we've said that the pairing that is the sexiest pairing of the late ones is the one between Justin Rose and Xander Schauffele. And probably, if we're going to have a gun to our head, we'd probably pick Xander to lift the trophy. But maybe Justin Rose has got a chance to ride on his coattails and get across the line as well.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe we'll do a playoff. If it's a bunch leaderboard, maybe this goes to extra holes. So yeah,
play the postage stamp over and over again until somebody.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Somebody just basically throws themselves into a bunker and gives up.
Yeah,
because that's proved really tough, that one, isn't it? This week.
It's what I think it played 118 yards yesterday, 130 today. You talk to all people in golf, like the players, the caddies, fans, journalists. Everybody agrees that short par threes, if they're done well, are some of the best holes in golf. Whereas long par threes are just awful.
Yeah,
everyone's just sort of whacking like a hybrid on there and getting there. It's just sort of like dull. Where so much can happen on the short par three if it's well bunkered or whatever, or there's water.
If the penalties around it are severe. Yeah.
So you can go from, it's just the range, isn't it? You can go from a hole in one or a tapping birdie to a 5 or a 6.
Yeah. Because for a professional golfer, 120, 110 yards is a flick of a sandwich, isn't it?
It's nothing in theory, but it's that thing in the back of your head knowing if I mess this up. Yeah. And he just sort of, you get a bit.
I was talking to somebody at the cricket I was doing today and saying, because we were talking about the golf, and there was somebody I used to play with who, I don't think in a works tournament he never got around 18 holes, because basically there was a moment of him spontaneously combusting and throwing a driver into the pond or something, and basically saying, right, I'm off to, I'll see you at the 19th hole kind of thing. And the postage stamp, I think if he was playing Royal Troon, he wouldn't get past the 8th.
Yeah. Go in one of them bunkers, an amateur in one of those bunkers. Being there all day.
They look scary, don't they? They look proper scary, but the professionals can get out of them, but they can't necessarily get out close, which you see. When you're watching the PGA Tour, a bunker's often the best place to be, isn't it? Because you can get really close, get a load of spin, and you're only 2 inches from the pin or holding it. But
these are the real deal, aren't they? These ones, you try and get cute, and then the ball will roll back into it, or you just have to take your medicine and you're 15 foot past.
So on name then, is it Xander?
Xander Schauffele, yes, that's my prediction. Or your prediction as well for the Open winner. Sometimes I visualize them making a speech, and I can see him. I can sort of picture him making a quite kind of nice, steady, respectful speech.
Give me a second.
Have you mocked it up? Have you mocked him up holding the claret jug or something?
I've got in my head. I'm just Colin Morikawa's making a speech.
You've got that. Well, he's done. You know what that's like, though. We saw it.
That's going to be exciting. That's good when he comes flying through from the back.
I can see just him just saying the right things. He's quite an articulate guy, isn't he?
Thank you very much, Royal Troon. It's been a real challenge this week, and to be pushed so hard by Justin Rose in the run in there. Justin, well played this week. You've been excellent. To beat you by one shot is an absolute privilege. And thank you, everybody, for coming. Everybody.
Thank you to the fans.
Yay.
Thank you to the fans. The first time I played in Scotland, I hit this shot. It finished 30 feet from the pin, and they applauded it. And that's that kind of thing.
And I fell in love with you all.
I fell in love with the game. Yeah, this is the home of golf.
See, everybody, you don't even need to watch it tomorrow. You know what's going to happen. Spoiler alert, we should have put right at the start of this. Anyway, we will see if that comes true. And see if that comes true, I could even say, as DT's pictures disappear off the screen. But we've done with DT. Thank you very much, Dave Tindall. Thank you very much to Matt Cooper for joining me this week as we've gone through every day, apart from yesterday, of the Open Championship. And thank you to you, everybody out there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your comments as we've gone through. And and McNulty just adds he's gone for Tristan Lawrence, and he's picked the Grand National winner in 2011 by doing that halfway through. So that could be that's where McNulty's gone. He's gone with Tristan Lawrence to win the Open Championship. But we're with Xander Schauffele. However you're betting, please gamble responsibly, everybody, and good luck with all of your bets. We will be back again with more Late Tee Time podcast as soon as we possibly can. I'm just trying to get rid of that banner at the bottom. Dave Tindall disappearing on me has completely thrown me. But we will see you again very soon indeed. And thanks again to switchwatersupplier.com. This has been a sports broadcast media production, and we'll see you again soon. Good luck with your bets, everybody. Gamble responsibly. Enjoy the golf.
All golfers want to stay away from the water. That splash as your round sinks beneath the surface is never a good sound. But golf courses rely on water to keep those fairways and greens lush for that post-round shower or the clean glass at the 19th hole. Golf courses, indeed most businesses, spend way too much money on their water bills. Switch Water Supplier can cut your water costs and help your business save money. Register now at switchwatersupplier.com. They will do all the hard work and get your business the very best price for your water supply and claim money back if you've been overcharged. Switchwatersupplier.com. Switching made simple.
And if you're worried about Dave Tindall, he's fine. His battery died. He's just messaged me saying, bring it home, James. So I'm going home. Cheers, everybody.
Always gamble responsibly. Visit begambleaware.org for more information.